So we will present you our work, our field work in South Brazil, Marcos and I. That is a research that we do in collaboration with Miriam Carboneira. We are three directors of the field, and this talk is aimed to present you the first field results for this research, together with a regional background and how this field work insert in the regional problematic of South Brazilian archaeology. So this is a binational research between Brazil and France. I will not detail all the institution; it's not very important. But just to say that we are a lot of people working on this program. It's impossible to cite everybody, but here you have the three, the name of the three leaders. I don't know if it's a good thing, it's good word, but no, never did. The context of the research is that in the beginning of the in the beginning of the 2000, there was a building of a dam in the Uruguay valley of the Uruguay River. The name of the dam is Foz do Chapecó, and during this construction, there was a lot of work of field archaeology, of preventive archaeology, that found very interesting sites for the region, and it was after this high potential, our archaeological potential was revealed, that we decided to organize a new research program, basically on that region. For a great presentation of the context, we are in South Brazil. It's very different from Amazonian context. When we speak about Brazil, generally people think about the equatorial forest. We are not in this context. It's a subtropical context in a plateau, not very high plateau, but it's not a basin, and the natural landscape is between. I don't know if you can see my mouse. You can.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay. In the eye area, you have this type of landscape with a forest with this typical species of Paraná pine or Araucaria, and in the lower part of South Brazil, you have this open area with steppe or savanna landscape. This is really interesting because we are between two very well-known region of South America, with a lot of Pleistocene sites that are the central Brazil, so tropical area, and North Argentina and Uruguay, with its more subtropical to temperate area, with some archaeological records, and for South Brazil, for Pleistocene data. We have a lot of Holocene, early Holocene data, but we have until now we have no very clear evidence of occupation for this period. I think it's more linked to a lack of find of this period that had a really result that he would have no human for this in this period. After the Pleistocene period, since the beginning of the Holocene until the appearing of ceramic context, traditionally, all the archaeology in South Brazil is resumed with the idea of Umbu tradition, of what is so-called Umbu tradition, that would encompass all the archaeological sites between 12,000 and 500 BP, and all the south of Brazil, including for some authors, also the country, the Republic of Uruguay. And this big archaeological culture, it's not the right term, is generally characterized by the bifacial, this type of bifacial projectile point, and not to anything else. So there are all other type of technology, but the unique point that is linking all the sites of all this period in all the part of South Brazil is the fact that you find this type of projection point. So in a technological point of view, it's a very weak characterization for a very big archaeological so-called complex or tradition. In the last years, some colleagues are pointed the fact that even if we see only the projective points, you can note some morphological or technological great differences. You have a great separation between the south of São Paulo state's point from all the other in the morphometric point of view, and in the technological point of view, you can separate all the site in three package, three different contexts. I will not detail it what are the different, but it's linked to the way you do the bifacial shaping and what type of blank you use to do it. But if we see always in this consideration, the point of view is uniquely based on the bifacial point. Is the first remark, and the second, even if now the colleagues are the proposal are to divide geographically this great area of South Brazil in archaeological aspect. There is no proposal for divide it in time aspect, and it's very strange because if you see what is happening in the Uruguay country, you can see that there are the colleagues are able to do the differentiation of the, successive archaeological complexes For example, for North Uruguay, between 13,000 and 10,000 and a half, we have three successive complex that are not only based on defined on projectile points, but also on the other type of tools. So our idea is to check if, in fact, it is impossible to do diachronic distinction between during the Holocene period for South Brazil and our field in this Foz do Chapecó area have as we will see is challenging this idea that it would be a very homogeneous period with no change and so on. So here the region we are studying, it's a big meander of the Uruguay River in this upper valley, and we are working in three archaeological sites, but mainly in two of them, these two sites, Linea Policial 7 and Uruguay 1, that we will present more detailedly to you. Marcos, for you.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. The previous slide,
Yes.
please. The previous, Antoine.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. If you look at this slide, the archaeological sites are associated with a large epistemic meander in a recessed or enclosed valley. This means that the river flows directly over the basaltic bedrock, local bedrock. In other words, its fluvial morphology is strongly controlled by faults and geological alignments, and the rates of fluvial incision and lateral migration are restricted to the limits of this enclosed valley. The archaeological sites are located at the bottom of the valley and are exposed to the process of sedimentation and fluvial erosion, to the oscillation of the river water level and of the slope by surface runoff. An important characteristic for you to consider in that is that in humid tropical and subtropical contexts where hot and humid conditions prevail for a significant part of the year, sedimentological records are prone to high levels of diagenesis, bioturbation, and watering. This means that understanding and quantifying the archaeological site formation process can be very challenging because we may not have a sufficient existing data with which to decipher the stratigraphic features recorded in this sequence. This is more or less the scenario of these sites. Please, next. Okay, this is the local geomorphological map. On the left, more or less, yes, you can see the Uruguay 1 site, and the right, in that cluster of green circle, more or less, is the Alipesat archaeological site. The important thing for understand this map is that we have a high difference in elevation between the tops and bottoms of the local valleys. This results in a topographical gradients of almost 200 meters, which obviously contributed to the supply and transport of sedimentation and the sediments to the valley floor. In brown, you have a predominance of mud sediments, which are thinner than the valley bottoms, which are influenced by sedimentation and gravitational process. The blue area, the points of blue area, represent the potential floodplains, actual floodplains, which are therefore exposed to the fluvial sedimentation. The difference between the two banks at this scale of analysis is the size of a floodplain. On the right bank, where LPSET site is located, the plan is much larger and consequently more diverse in the food plan environments. In the left bank is a confined environment. It's like an amphitheater type valley. From the environmental point of view, the basalt of the tops and the middle slope was watered, producing thick layers of soil that were transported to the valley bottoms, where the morphology allowed them to be deposited and preserved. Next, please. Okay, this is just a current image of the right bank associated with a LPSET archaeological site. You see in blank, yes, the archaeological excavation here. Yes, just this. Next. Okay. Now, here's more detailed look at the LPSET archaeological site, okay? At the top, you see the valley section where we can see the difference in the slope between the buffer riverbanks. In the center, we see the morphology of the colluvial alluvial terraces associated with the wide local flood plain. In these parts, we have the stratigraphical sequence of the lower Holocene. Basically, this corresponds to mud sediments that were deposited on the local slopes by colluvial process. It was precisely this dynamic that allowed the formation of thicker sedimentary deposits and the separation of archaeological levels. Please, next. Now, here is a synthetic lithostratigraphical section of this area of the site. The interesting thing here is precisely the formation of archaeological levels in this homogeneous sedimentary sequence that give us support for the interpretation of moments of non-sedimentary deposition and the stability of the local landscape. The principal archaeological levels you find in this massive mud sediment is very homogeneous in the middle of the lithostratigraphic sequence. Yes, and now Antoine will explain the archaeological characteristics of the site.
So in in this site we have in the sector of Linear Policial 7, the first one, we have only layers from the Holocene, Pleistocene to Holocene transition, with 4 moments of archaeological deposits, which are represented here in each of this line of artifact. And here we have the date. So we are between more or less 12,000 to 9,500 BP. So this is not as was explained. This is not the original surface. The original surface was eroded from the river. So yeah, another view of the excavation, and we pass quickly in the characteristic of each layer. The oldest one is quite have a very interesting characteristic, because it's more or less 600 lithic pieces. It's only lithic pieces and charcoal. There's no organic material was preserved in this very acid context. And all these more or less 600 artifacts are coming only from 5 blocks, not five raw material, 5 blocks, really blocks. So we can understand very clearly what was done in this layer. We have a big cobble of bad quality chert that was flaked to do some flakes. We don't know really why, but if the flake was used there, it was used for a very quick use and only without secondary modification. There's no retouch on these flakes. There is another category of raw materials that is only composed of 2 fragments of 1 flakes, 1 retouch flakes. And for the 4 other concentrations, we have the same idea. It's only waste flakes from flaking production of little bifacial object. We don't know if is for production of maybe for bifacial point or little bifaces. We don't know because we have only the waste. The pieces of the objective of the intended pieces of the production were left outside the site. For the second moment of occupation of the site, we have, in a technological point of view, a relative continuity with the first one, but with more of this big and thin relative flakes, some bifacial points that are not steamed, and the production of little flakes on in situ. These flakes were probably brought into the site because we have no evidence of débitage in the site. We have no the cores for these flakes are not present in the area. And after we have the two upper layer that are characterized by the very rich industry in terms of the number of chain opératoire that I was represented, because we have the presence of big flakes continue along with this little bifacial shaping production for points that have not the same morphology of the layer the above layer. We have also big bifacial production, these that are attested here with only a tip of biface. There are some bipolar production on anvil made from quartz crystals. We don't know really what for. There are on the production of only little fragments, and this very peculiar production of blades, this laminar production that is the only point in Brazil that is known. It's very well known for European Paleolithic, for Upper Paleolithic, but in South America it's quite rare, and in Brazil it's the only in Foz do Chapecó that is known until now. And all these production are contemporaneous. It's not a matter of mixture. We have very clear layers, so we are in front of a very diversity of production in the same moment. For the other side, in the other side of the river, because we are really in two parts of the same valley. In the two sides are one in front of the other. I let you speak, Marcus.
Yeah. And this is one example of this confined or enclosed slope associated with Uruguay 1 archaeological site. This is a current image, more or less 2022. Please, next. Okay. We can see the right inclination of the local slopes in this site, and their confined topography result in greater gradients of colluvial deposition. The terrace in this part is better preserved, in contrast to the LP7 archaeological site. Here, we have a more preserved and vertically continuous stratigraphic sequence in this part. The points of differential erosion indicate lithological difference. You see the point G and G principally, these differences in the erosion, and this indicated the lithological difference in the granulometric composition of the sedimentary deposits. This stratigraphic sequence covers the end of Pleistocene and the entire Holocene, more or less. Next. Okay. We can see here the same model of a synthetic lithostratigraphic section of this area of the Uruguayan archaeological site. As you can see, the main archaeological levels are contained in the colluvial deposition sequence associated with these mud sediments. In these deposits, the sands indicate the local hydrodynamics, fluvial hydrodynamics, where the return of the sands at the top of the sequence indicates the increase in the fluvial level during the upper Holocene. This return of the sand is associated or chronocorrelated with a type of gap in the chronostratigraphic sequence after 3,000 years before the present. The level with ceramics and the tropogenic soil formation are well marked between 600 and 300 years before the present. And in the same sedimentological characteristic with linea LP7 archaeological sites, we have the principal archaeological levels inside of this mud sequence of colluvial sediments. In these sites, we have until now 6 archaeological levels indicated in this sequence. And now Antoine will be explain the archaeological characteristics.
So, as Marcus said, the difference in an archaeological point of view, the specificity of this site in relation to the other is the fact that there is a very long sequence. We will focus only on the first level, on the lower level. That is contemporaneous from the last one from the other side. Really contemporaneous is the same dates, and in a technological point of view, it's the same industry with the blades production, the little points, steamed points, these big flakes, big retouch flakes, and big bifaces. And this one is very specific one because it was found entire. The scale are not the same. This is a very big piece. I think it's more than 20 centimeters long. And another difference between the two sites is in this site, and specifically in this layer, we have some very
little
and low preserved bones and mostly teeth that are coming from these 40s and a lot of other coming from specific fish from the river, and also this dart is from another type of fish. There is also a tooth of cervid of deer. So even if it's really probably really not representative in terms of quantity of the consumption of from the people who is responsible for this layer, we can have an idea that there was exploring all together the aquatic fauna and the terrestrial fauna. It's not we have not a great register for fauna, but it's the only one we have, so we are very happy to have it. So if we do to conclude, if we do a discussion of the result, we can see that as we have in the middle Uruguay context, in the Uruguayan archaeology, as we have this separation on different complexes, different technological context, we can see the same, not for the oldest context that are not present in the upper Uruguay River in Brazilian context, but we can see that it is possible to do some differences, some time differences in the archaeological register from South Brazil, and also in a spatial, in a geographical point of view, we have some differences, because but to understand it, you have to study the archaeological, the technological production, not only focusing on the point. We are, if you see the what there is else of the point, we can see a word of shaping of shaping big flakes, blades, bipolar production, a lot of bifacial productions that are not aiming to produce a point. This is for all the Uruguay River context. In the Atlantic slope, you have a very different context that for almost all formal artifacts are points, but we have some fragments made of bipolar production on Chalcedonian quartz, and also flaking production with no retouch and not and without standardization of the production in this flaking production in basalt and sandstone, and for North Paraná and South São Paulo states, it's another word with some unifacial productions that are remaining what we find in the middle, in the central of Brazil. So this is a work in progress, but we can see that all the homogeneity that is suggested by the idea of Umbu tradition for South Brazil is not corresponding anymore with what we can understand of the first moment of occupation of this area. The story is probably much more complicated, and we are so at the beginning of the understanding of the process of occupation, of peopling of the region. Thank you.